All right, welcome guys. It's Squash the Beef, episode 21. We got a special guest here, Steven Rediker, if you remember him from episode 2.
He's back.
Yeah, he's back. He was actually our first guest. So the thing is, he's leaving Thursday, right?
That's right. Thursday night.
Thursday night. And those of you who don't know him, just to recap on things, he's been here in Korea for more than 7 years, was it?
It'll be 8 years in May. So
okay,
it's like
8 years.
Yeah, almost there.
Yeah. 8 years. And now... you got a master's degree recently.
I got my master's degree in October in just teaching ESL and teaching bilingual students. And so I'm looking for a college job now in another country.
Cool. So what are your plans, man? Like when you get home, like what are you thinking of? Like you're going to get like Chinese takeout food or like pizza?
Oh, about that? About the like reverse culture shock? That's what you're referring to?
Funny thing is, like we're here in Korea, but we don't have like American Chinese food here. You know what I mean?
You're right. We have the Chinese food here that is a menu that consists of
Koreanized.
3 items. That's it.
Yep.
Three items.
Yep.
Which I had for dinner last night, actually.
I had it today in the morning.
You did? So I had a plate that included both jjajangmyeon and tangsuyuk together.
Yeah.
So I had 2 out of the 3.
Oh,
what did you have?
I had I had the same thing actually. Jjajangmyeon and tangsuyuk.
Okay, for my breakfast I ate jjampong.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, seriously, it was
That completes the menu.
Seafood udon. So sounds
that
about
is
right.
You're
Yeah.
right. Awesome.
Yeah, it's a great choice.
So I thought about it wasn't you. Who was I talking to about the American Chinese food menu has like 50 items on it, or is it 80 or 100, something like that?
That's a lot. I mean, you got the pamphlet and like all the sides are just listed down like a freaking like
by number. So you call them and say, I want the 55, I want number 74, so that the Chinese people don't have to worry about like the communication problems or anything like that. It's very easy.
If you don't know how to pronounce General So's or General Sal's or however, I still don't know till this day.
Yeah,
so.
that's right. That's
Everything
a controversy
is, like,
I'm not going to
sweet and
step
sour
into.
pork, you know, and then when you actually get it, it's like not sweet and sour pork.
Yeah, it depends on the restaurant.
Corianders in it, and then we go, how can I say like no?
I know
no
who I was talking to.
Like, you know, it's like shanchai, like, you know, and it was like
you don't have to. Yeah, but I had a lunch with 2 of my students, my adult Korean students, and I was telling them about the Chinese menu in America, how like you can get like a burger and fries. You can get like a kids meal chicken McNuggets. They have like the Chinese restaurant is like an all you can. It's like a pyeonijam of food, right?
Yeah.
It's a pyeonijam of food. It's a convenience store of food, basically.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, pyeonijam is convenience store.
Is it all right if I splatter some random Korean words out of my mouth?
Go ahead, show off your Korean skills.
Oh,
hey, man.
My Korean skills are better than that, but I don't want to show them off. You know? I'm too shy for that.
Yeah. And we also have a special guest here. She is our first Korean guest. And what I mean by that is...
Is that true? I
She
didn't know.
is our first, like, from Korea. Like born in
Let's give her a round of applause
and
for her.
raised in Korea. You want to introduce yourself?
I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised about that. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't seen every episode.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm 100% Korean. Like,
There we go.
Yeah.
You get a champagne for your...
Yeah, actually I mixed with ginger ale. So.
All right. So
Yeah,
it's a good celebration.
And those of you
drink.
who don't know, this is actually sake. I'm drinking it from this little juice box thing. It's awesome.
It looks like a coffee milk. It is.
Yeah, it is awesome.
It's imported.
Oh yeah, straight from
It's
Japan.
from Osaka.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Steven.
that was an amazing trip, and that's one of the things you're sucking down one of the memories that I brought back from one of the mementos I brought
What did I
back.
bring from Vietnam? I just landed here, by the way.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So
Where's
why
my
don't you-
gift?
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell everyone like your journey here? You know, your what happened?
Okay. He said, let's save it for the podcast, so I didn't tell him anything. So I got robbed in Hanoi, by the way. Like,
She got robbed.
Yeah,
She got robbed in Hanoi.
I had 5-month-old phone, like. It was Samsung Galaxy 8, if I can say this name, and then...
You say it's a 5-month-old phone, like it's old, but that's the most latest one.
Yeah, that is. And then it's coming off soon, actually, the next
That makes
one.
me angry that the thief got a new phone from you.
I know. And then, I mean, I'm kind of relieved that because I had, like, several, like, cracks in it. Like, front screen.
It cracked?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. So there's a little, like...
Yeah.
There's a
do,
little.
do you want to say something to the thief? Right now? Go fuck yourself.
No. If you
go get that screen fixed.
if you can get that phone, but I want my 6,000 pictures returned.
Oh, that's right. The data is the most important, isn't it?
I don't need my contacts. Someone will call me if they love me.
If they love her, they'll call her.
You'll never call me in 2 days, so I don't love you anymore.
Oh no! I only call girls I don't love, so that's why I don't call you. I love you too much to bother you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, so I need a picture. I need that pictures, and then I can give you money. You can take everything because I will have to pay money here. Okay. So what I heard about this country is like one of my friends said it's gonna be like 2 months salary worth if somebody steals a used phone, like a used smartphone, like iPhone, Samsung, like the latest phone. Yeah, that's like a 2 months of salary. So like the situation I got robbed, there was. Like we were walking towards it's called Hanoi Beer Street,
Hanoi Beer Street.
Okay. So yeah, the thing is I was not drunk. Like my sister and I went to the spa and then we had a good massage and we were kind of relaxed and it's like maybe let's just have one draft beer because
Hanoi,
it's cheap. Yeah,
Vietnam, right?
Yeah, Beer Street. And then it was like a BBQ and hot pot place and they were grabbing everyone's like, oh, brother, you eat here, delicious.
They're pulling you in, like it's kind of like a noraebang in Japan.
Come in, and then my sister got laugh, and then I was like kind of distracted, and then I hardly ever put my phone on the, pocket, and then
the jacket pocket.
Yeah, usually I put it here for safety reason, and then or have a purse with the zip lines.
I'll be ready in a second.
Yeah, but I don't even know when I put it in, and then it's gone, and then I think 10 minutes later I
don't feel bad. It's not your fault. Somebody else fucking reached in there and
so
grabbed it.
My sister got kind of paranoid about this, and then this is her first time experienced this kind of bad happening in the overseas.
Right.
So I should travel a lot, by the way, and then I kind of panicked out too, and then we went to police station, and then the first thing he said, "Do you have travel insurance?" Like this.
Oh shit.
Oh. And then I'm like, yes, I do. And it's like, okay, right. And then he say, you write what I tell you. And then it's like, I was walking here around this o'clock, and then I check my purse and I know it's stolen. And then so request, how can I say in request? And then he's like, I have a travel insurance. I want to get a compensation. So it's not like you write request I want my phone back. Please detect my GPS or find my location.
Yeah, that's right.
I cannot say that.
Really?
Because police in front of me just say, oh, travel
Thank you.
insurance, compensation, just like that. So the thing is the club next door, literally in front of the police station, the club staff has to come to here to translate me.
Oh.
Yeah. So that
God.
staff translating
right.
to Vietnamese, and then I got a stamp and okay, you bring this back home and you'll get compensation. More like that. Nothing can you call my phone because right now it has a USIM in it and I have my Vietnamese number, this is my telecom I use, blah blah blah, and then there was okay, you have travel insurance.
So
yeah.
you think they were just doing a poor job because they were lazy? Or?
I think it's not about laziness. So I believe many of my friends said Vietnam has still many things under the table between police and
it's corrupt, you're saying,
corruption.
Right? They just hand cash.
Yeah. So even immigration stuff, and you can actually buy the visa to get there. If you want to work in Vietnam, you just need to pay $300 for 1 year. Do you want multiple? $350. For more bargaining, okay, I did this with you last year, so discount for me visa. You're literally buying visa for this. So I was kind of surprised about that.
It's very just, it's like the wild wild west over there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was I just be okay, I'm here for another 3 days. So if you have anything, this is my hotel number, blah blah blah. So we got into a taxi. So I usually call Uber or something like that in Vietnam because it's safety reason. And
they got Uber there.
Yeah, and Uber, and then something called Grab. I think Grab is the best thing. Grab has even motorcycle taxi registered. So
Oh,
it's
okay.
cheaper, and then you
Do
can
they have
literally-
tuk-tuks
Yeah.
in Vietnam?
No, it's not tuk-tuk. It's kind of separate from tuk-tuk. So they have this kind of green jacket, green helmet on it, and then if you call, you can.
It's $1 or
Yeah,
like
something
a
like
chun
that.
won for
no,
like 20.
Ube one for 2 kilometers. Like 50 cents.
So that's like
40
50 cents.
Yeah.
From like here to my apartment is like 50 cents.
Yeah,
Jesus
2 kilometers.
Christ.
Wow.
Yeah, so they like as soon as they arrive, and then they give me the helmet. So I was like, I kind of having trouble with the
On an app that's like the Kakao
Yeah,
Taxi,
yeah,
like
yeah,
on an
yeah.
app. Really, that's pretty cool.
So
then, yeah, I
you said
use that.
it's called Grab.
grab the bike, grab the
Oh,
car,
okay.
grab
So
yeah.
it's just it has more forms of like of vehicle, like transportation. I mean,
they just
Yeah,
have
yeah,
those
yeah. You
motorcycle
can- you
guys
can-
on Kakao Taxi.
Yeah, you
like
can
that,
literally
you know.
just book a 7-seated car without troubling.
Mhm.
Like for example, if you want to get a 7-seated car, where are you gonna call?
a 7-seater car.
Yeah,
Like that sounds like a
like a van or something like for group. Like
around here. Like I don't.
yeah, you
I
don't
don't
know
know.
anything. For me, like so when I called the Grab, and then there's like a several vehicle like types, like bike, Grab car, just Grab, anything available, like Grab taxi. So like it's more like a Kakao taxi is registered in like Grab.
I guess I would just Google it and just say like a 7-seat car in
in Korea. But
like
this one, you just pick the location on the map, and then you get the price as well.
wow.
So that's good. Like you don't have to worry about what about the traffic meter goes off. I don't have.
And
enough
Korea
money.
doesn't have that,
Yeah.
right? There's no motorcycle
we-
taxis
Yeah,
or
we
anything.
have
Wow.
something like let's go. I say City Hall and the beach, and then like they just like okay $3. Like they show the price on it. Yeah.
Oh.
So that's kind of convenient. And then which I didn't have my phone at the
Right.
at the time I was getting
Shit.
back.
So you
And then-
lost your phone. Like, how did you communicate
Like
with anybody?
I had my
For the-
laptop registered with the PC Messenger, so I
Kakao?
communicate. Yeah.
Oh,
And then
okay.
I search for compensation, how much you can get for
Yeah.
the first. Yeah, and then I took I usually take Grab a lot, but it's like I didn't have my phone, so I just went to the street and then grabbed the taxi, and then it's like okay, the near Hanoi. My hotel name, and then he went there, and then he's about to almost passing away. Like he's like he was on the first row, and then I have to go right there. It's my hotel's right there. You have to change your line, and then it's like, okay, I just said okay, here, here, right there, and then he stopped. Usually there's I was in a 5-star hotel, by the way, so it's a driveway,
Mm-hmm.
and then he stopped me over there when there's like a gate over there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I paid him, like, I've been there for a month.
Yeah.
So I know about currency, how much worth it. And then
Yeah.
I gave him like let's say $10.
Okay.
Okay, $10. And then my rider was like $3, And then he say, oh, you only give me $1. Like he
So he was just
exchanged
trying to-
money. Yeah,
he
he
was trying to
exchanged
cheat
money.
you.
So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe maybe it was dark, my mistake. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I gave him 20. And then he changed it again, $2. Oh, you only give me
He did it
$2.
again. Oh, he did it
this
twice?
Mother.
I know. So
Like, he did it twice. Some people fall for that, I guess. He keeps
and
doing
then
it.
and then I start getting angry, and then
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
no, give me my 20 back. And
Right,
he got
right.
my 20 back, and then I said, why you do this?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like I know I've been here for a month.
So you
I
called
know
him
when
out.
yeah, and then my sister got paranoid because it was right after we went to the police station, all the
Yeah.
chaos over there, and then like in the taxi, she's like. Almost like like I'm done with this. I'm done
Yeah.
with this trip. I'm gonna change my flight tomorrow.
Yeah.
Well,
And
your
then-
sister really had a crazy time too, because as soon as she got there, more crazy shit started happening. Because she had crazy shit happening the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
She was there a month. This is the end of the trip.
Right, it is.
This is the last 3 days of the trip.
Right.
You didn't even get to the beginning part where you got fucking homeless by somebody. I can't believe that.
Yeah, so the thing
But
is
that-
like
this story is an
my
hour.
sis-
We were gonna do this
Yeah.
for an hour. We can
Yeah.
go on forever for this one.
My sister got like really tired, and she went to the hotel front, and then she's actually teaching English, but she's not really good with speaking. She's more like a grammatically, and then teaching in Korean. That's why she's like sometimes when she speaks, it's like not like natural, but she knows all the grammar and she knows how to express herself.
Yeah, the thing, like for those of you who don't know, like Koreans are really good with like grammar.
Right.
When it comes down to like writing and like, you know, just like the written part of English, but
to get
like
A plus.
yeah, but
Because that's
like,
how you can
Yeah.
test for it. They
Exactly.
take tests for it. I mean, and,
yeah. But conversationally, yeah, they're lacking a little bit in that department. But yeah.
But but my sister was okay. She's like, she was very calm. Tried to explain to him like, I'm a guest here, but my sister outside, and I have a problem. Can you come with me? She's like very, you know, like, can you come with me to help my sister? And then like she brought like 3 other people. I'm like, what?
Oh.
You know, like you don't need this for $3. You know, like.
Random question. Can I ask you, how did you learn your English? Just because, like, you're so very fluent in English?
Yeah, I was in Canada for a year. And then
So were you staying with a host family or?
I once had a like homestay mother, and then I had a share house with Saudi Korean and then Korean, one of the other Korean.
Okay, where in Canada though?
I was in prepare for this. New Brunswick. I was in New Brunswick.
New Brunswick.
Yeah. See,
no idea.
everyone goes
It's
like,
all the
it's
way
next to
east.
I mean,
Maine.
there's a
It's
New
next
Brunswick
to
It's all the
Maine.
way
New
east.
Jersey.
It's all
Yeah,
the way
I
east.
love you, New Brunswick, whatever.
I'm okay with New Brunswick too. Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's in New Jersey.
That's in New
right.
Jersey.
We got New Brunswick.
Yeah,
Rutgers is there.
Yeah, the thing is like it's right next to the Maine, and I have to explain sometimes like, you know where the Titanic fell, you know, like it's right next to there, you know, like yeah, I have to be like that.
So
Yeah.
how was it? How was it like growing up there?
I liked it because it has no Korean, you know. Like
You
know,
liked it because there's
yeah.
no Koreans?
The thing is
Really?
like sometimes when you go to like Canada or USA for like learning English, and then they actually go to like Koreatown and just hang out with more friends and then spend money, and then they don't learn actual
Right.
English and then come back home. So I didn't want that to happen to me, and then
Yeah, you get magnetized to the Korean community, and then you
Yeah.
just kind of stick with that. But obviously, there's some cons to that because you don't learn English.
right, and
Yeah.
then the state, I mean the province, Canada province is bilingual by French and
Oh, okay.
English. So that's actually
So
the
more in the eastern part of Canada.
east,
I see.
and then
Uh-huh.
it's actually one of the only province that has bilingual.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
only.
see.
Yeah, so
How
Quebec
was
has
the
only,
How was the
like,
Korean town in New Brunswick?
We didn't have a Korean time.
You did or you
We
didn't?
didn't.
Didn't.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't expect that. So I was hoping you would tell me maybe there were like
But we have two Chinese.
samgyeopsal restaurants or Paris Baguette somewhere or something.
It's more like in Korea, maybe you can tell it's something like Yeongnam. Like
Yeongnam?
where do you?
That's
Where
the
is
racing.
it?
That's the racing place, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Ah.
more
cool.
like that.
The Indy racetrack in Korea is close to the big Gwangju.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
from
I
from
see.
southern.
That's called Yeongnam.
Southwest of Korea, so I know
Right.
around that area.
Cool.
So how many?
cool.
Like this is a stupid question about. Do you know? Do they have like 2 or 1 big race there a year?
Like race.
Like they only have like 1 or 2 big races there a year.
Yes,
but
yes.
then the rest of the year they just have like local races and stuff there.
Sometimes the local races, but still many of theme park style like you can actually ride there for test. Yeah.
Oh,
like-
okay, okay. So they do a lot of like
Yeah.
cool shit there.
Yeah,
I never got a
not-
chance to go there, so I don't know.
Not many visitors, I think. Yeah.
All right.
No, not that famous in Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But sometimes concert too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they rent it for concert.
They have shows.
Yeah.
And from episode 2, we didn't finish on talking about dating Koreans. In...
Did we start talking about that?
No, we didn't.
Oh, we never even got to it?
We lightly touched on it. So like, I want to ask you, like, how is like dating Koreans as a white male here in Korea? Because you've been here for a long time, obviously. So
I think it's more of just that I'm American. That the culture difference makes it, really different than dating somebody in USA.
yeah. So like, what were some of the things that were kind of hard for you to like?
There's
Like
so
in
many
a relationship,
like when I first
there's like some bumps.
like when I first got here, it's like where do I start? Like how do I keep this like short
No,
and
make
sweet?
it like 2014, 14. Like 14.
It's when I came here, somebody told me dating in Korea, things are like the 50s here. Things are it was a time back then where things were more classic or romantic, or I don't know what it means, but because I don't know the 50s that well, but I kind of know 50s music.
No, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Things are like kind of like old-fashioned
Right,
with dating.
Yeah.
So I said kind of like, what is that like? Like, I have no idea what that means, but it just means conservative. I mean, that's basically it.
Yeah.
It was kind of shocking to me to know that people live at home with their parents until they get married at any age.
Right.
And that was something I wasn't used to, you know, coming from USA. So that made dating harder, kind of.
Yeah.
I have to go home by midnight. Like,
That's right.
yeah, my parents are waiting.
Yeah.
Like,
And she's 38 saying that.
But like more like personally for you, was there some sort of like trouble like with you and like your exes, like something that you couldn't overcome? Was it because of a cultural like difference? Was there a barrier, language, or like what was it?
All of it.
All of it.
Yeah, all of that, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
what the examples you gave, culture, definitely culture. But I mean,
were
that's
you
on
able
me.
to adjust to it? Like, is it easily adjustable, or because like
Yeah.
when people think like when we're younger, we think, oh yeah, I can date like any girl from any country, right? You feel like you're capable,
Yeah.
but when you're actually in it, it's very different, right? You're like,
it is.
oh shit, the fuck.
yeah.
I mean,
So like, I'm just asking you, Steve, like what were some of the things that were pretty like troublesome for you?
I mean, you always learn new things. That's why, like, if you don't date anybody, like, you don't learn anything. And when you're dating somebody, whether it's good or whether it's shitty, you're still learning something, you know? And
Was language a big part of it?
well,
I think, okay, can I replace
Yeah.
your answer, by the way?
yeah, go ahead.
Go
You're
ahead.
going to be like, all right. You
Okay.
know? Like, yeah.
Shit, I missed
She's
something. Fill in
waiting,
the gaps.
she's waiting to spit it
Yes.
out. Yeah, go ahead.
And then the thing is like the timing of, you know, let's be boyfriend, girlfriend.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
And
you're
yeah,
right.
I told you. And then it's like, when the timing is for, I love you, you know, there's like, not such a thing between I like you, I love you,
Yeah.
you know, I love spending time with you is sort of the thing.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, I talked about. I did a video on my YouTube channel where we talked about this thing. She might be she might be reminding me of that or bringing that back.
Your YouTube
but
channel is called what? Steven Worldwide?
Steven Worldwide. With
Okay,
Steven
right.
with a PH.
Yep,
Steven Worldwide.
Steven with the PH. We'll
So-
put it in the description below.
Yeah, just trying to talk about the language difference. Yeah, that's one of the things, of course, when I meet, you know, Korean women is if they don't speak any English, then my Korean is kind of like
You can get by.
lower. I can get by with it. I would
you're-
say it's like lower intermediate. But it's hard to have a relationship all in Korean for me. I'll just put it that way. If I don't speak Korean well enough to have an all Korean relationship, and if I did speak Korean well enough, it would like increase like my chances of dating like by 100%, I would guess,
Right.
you know. So I just do what I can do, and that's kind of like
But that's the thing, man. Like for you, like, you know, you're doing whatever you can do to like learn Korean and speak Korean, but that also has to go for the other person as well. She has to try to learn your language, learn your culture, try to speak your language too.
Well-
Because if she doesn't, then there's no like middle ground. It's like in a relationship, if you're trying to go into a deeper level of conversation, you know, because like she's not trying and you're just trying all the time, you're gonna eventually get exhausted. Oh my god! By the way, we're all wearing gray because let me explain.
I requested.
Because so Steven and I, we just happen to be wearing gray
and then
hoodies.
gray hoodie zipper.
And I took off my hoodie off just so that like I could wear my t-shirt, but little did I know that my t-shirt was gray.
a giant
And
shirt.
then so
Yeah.
like, as soon as I get takes this sit it, and I'm like, can I wear something?
She was like,
gray?
"Can I join
yeah.
like
Yeah.
this gray
So
theme?"
she's matching the
I gave
theme.
her my
You know,
hoodie, and that's why we're all gray here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Way
But
to go.
yeah, what were we saying? But yeah, that's what I think.
But
Yeah.
I think so too.
Right?
Like it's
Yeah.
like
The-
you know,
the-
when you were trying, let's say when you were giver and taker. You know,
Right.
there's a giver and taker between.
I understand what you guys are saying, but like I've been through both kinds of relationships. I've been through a long-term relationship with a Korean girl who spoke English very well, and I was
Oh,
in
okay.
a couple year or over a year relationships with Korean girls that didn't speak English that well at all, and one that barely spoke English that well at all, and it was great, to be honest. Like we didn't have any deep conversations like what you were talking about, and maybe later it would be a problem. But we would meet and we would go out. We would have dates. We would eat at delicious restaurants. And the good part about not having deep conversations is we didn't fight or argue about anything ever. That was more than just like a 5-second disagreement about like where to eat dinner or something like that.
Right, that's
so imagine dating somebody for a year and not having a fight in a year.
That's great. But then again, if you just as human beings, like sometimes we want like something more, but like you would feel kind of empty in that department.
You're
know
right.
what I mean?
And I never went that far where that issue came. But, before that happened, we broke up. The relationship was over before. And it came close to like, should I marry this girl? Should I not marry this girl? Why should I marry this girl? And it came down to that with a few of my long-term relationships.
Wow, you were about to you were contemplating.
It went long enough where I thought about,
wow,
am I gonna marry this girl and stay with her, or am I gonna live here with her, or where am I gonna go? And they got long enough where I thought about that, like for each girlfriend that I had at the time, and some of them we broke up for cultural reasons, some of them we broke up for language reasons, and some of them we broke up just because. It's my fault because you mentioned it before. What was that? You talked about it before. It's not that like I'm too picky, but when it comes to getting married, I'm going to be fucking picky.
No, you have to be.
I'm going to be fucking picky.
Everybody has to be, right?
But you mentioned this before. No, because I think a lot of foreigner guys that are married here in Korea.
I'm contradicting myself right now.
I think a lot of hear me out for a second.
Okay.
A lot of foreign guys that are married here in Korea, to married to a Korean, I'm trying to say, they kind of made that decision. They kind of made that decision that they're going to just be a good dad and a good husband. That kind of thing.
Oh, I see.
Like, it's more like, I feel like I have many Korean, like Korean American couples or Korean Canadian couples like that. But, like, sometimes, one of my friends, she's taking care of her in-laws, like, too much, like too much, like bad for her. I feel so bad for her because like even some of the Korean families are not like seriously like sensitive about in-laws, taking care of in-laws, or like giving money, or like every big event or holidays like that. But yeah, sometimes I feel so bad that I feel like, oh my God, this poor girl, like she should have just married another, like American to get rid of all the stress. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Those of you who don't know about like marrying to a Korean family, basically you're going to take a crap load of responsibilities. Like you have a role, and like you have to take you just have a crap load of responsibilities.
Yeah. The family just expected what you do. Like, let's say, like, oh, because it's a holiday, she should give me something, or like she should be here for a whole week.
That's right.
Holiday.
They can even dictate your even your financial situation too. Like they can tell you like what to do with your money.
Yeah, I'm not
which is the most
like when you get married, you get out of the house, but like you can't get out of the family, so to speak. Not like in USA, it's anything different where I'm from, but like you can just see your families on the holidays. But here, like it depends on who. They don't do babysitters here, so your grandparents are your babysitters here. Yep. You have to plan on where you live, and a lot of
that's true, location. Mm-hmm.
A lot of the students I had that were married Korean women would kind of complain to me of how difficult it was around holiday time, how the husband's family requires them to cook and clean and like wait after the guys who stand around and do nothing. Like I heard this multiple times.
Okay.
Can I ask you, Steve? How did you meet like the Korean girls that you dated?
Anywhere.
Well, if you're comfortable to talk about it, was it at a club? Was it through a friend? Or what? And just for the viewers out there who are planning on coming to Korea to date a Korean person. No, why not? That's why some people come here, right?
For that purpose?
Korean women are beautiful.
Okay,
so
I'm available.
she's available too. You can
That's right.
contact her.
She's recently single.
Uh,
You can still get her on the rebound if you try hard enough.
but yeah, like, what were some of the ways that was it Tinder? Like, what was it for you?
When I first came here? Or?
Yeah, like, generally, like, what's your
Because
like?
it's been a long 8 years
Right.
Living in Korea, and so
He's like,
many
You mean
different,
the bad
Yeah.
timing or bad good time?
like, right. I mean,
most of
there's
the
so-
time, was it just
talking-
like just going directly to them? And
Yeah,
just,
I mean,
like,
as a cultural thing, walking up to a stranger in Korea is really taboo. It's not acceptable.
is.
And so
but
when you,
is it okay as a white person?
no, I mean, it's,
Do
it's,
they give some slack?
So the
Like,
thing is-
oh yeah, he's white. It's
well, it's
okay.
not, it's, oh
the
yeah,
thing is, it's not between foreigner and Koreans. Even Korean to Korean, if stranger approaches to you,
Yeah.
that's like very rejected.
It is.
Yeah,
But you have
even,
to add.
Even you be like, 죄송합니다. Like, can I borrow your phone? And then it's like, why? For what purpose? Like,
Well, that
yeah.
would be weird in America too. Can I borrow your phone? And you say why? It's emergency. Fine,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean that's kind of normal. But the language barrier thing becomes a second hindrance. It's first you're a stranger. Second, oh my God, you're a foreign. It's actually I used to complain that it was like a 3 or 4 stage emergency when a Korean sees me. First, oh my God, there's a foreigner. There's a white guy. Like, what is he doing here? And then like number 2 is, oh my God, there's no way we can communicate. There's no way that I can just say something like, hello, how are you? And he knows what I'm saying.
So why don't
And-
you describe how Koreans react if they lack the ability to speak English? Do they run away most of the time, or do like?
No, they're my
for you,
feel-
in your experience.
No, just my feeling is this is not everybody, of course, but some of them are just freaked out
Yeah.
to see a non-Korean in their town, in their country.
It is a homogenous,
And it
very
doesn't-
homogenous country.
It doesn't mean that they're not upset or anything. They're just
yeah,
they're
sorry.
just kind of
Don't worry
like
about
just
that.
shocked and surprised. And when you're from a Western country, to be surprised by somebody who looks different than you is kind of like we're used to that. It's no big deal. So
Yeah,
like
but I think like now we're getting a lot of foreign in this country, and then many of them like multicultural marriage is a lot in Korea, and then I feel like the concept of like looking foreigner as a Korean, I think it has to be very different, because let's say if I get married like with a foreign somebody, whoever whichever come from, but like if we have a child, and then everyone will think like, oh, my daughter or son is a foreigner, which is not true, like, yeah, even if he's or she's like born and raised here, and everyone thinks like, every second you see my daughter's face, and it's like, oh, she's a foreigner.
Oh.
Yeah, something like that.
I
But
see.
they just like, oh, like maybe they married, like they married somebody who comes from another country. More like I don't want my children to get judged, like in that way, which they don't have to be.
you're right.
Like,
Right,
yeah. So
And-
sometimes that's sad about like
And can I ask you, did you ever date a foreigner?
never.
Never?
Yeah.
Wow.
This-
and it's so
that's a
surprising.
shocking thing, isn't it?
That's actually the
How
most
often do you
shocking thing
meet
here.
a Korean who speaks English as well as her that only dates Korean
Oh
guys?
my God, that's crazy.
That might be the only one.
Yeah. Wow, I would have never expected that. I thought you actually dated a foreigner, because like for a lot of
Well,
people,
she lived in Canada for 2 years. We don't know
there's
what
that
happened
too.
there. We
But
don't know.
some people, they go abroad to learn a language, but they might not be as good as her level of her ability to speak English, just because like I just feel like when you start like actually dating someone or having a serious relationship, doesn't have to be serious, but you're actually like stimulating your brain just to like try to get to know that person. So you're putting in a lot of effort to speak that same language.
That's right.
So like that's how a lot of people learn a new language. So I was just wondering,
For me, like I prefer like someone who speaks Korean and English for sure. But like for me as like Korean, if I date a foreigner, like I'm worried about like if I get really mad or if I get feeling down or like get sad about something and I don't want to think about second language to express my feeling. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
Right.
it cannot translate like 100% of
Right.
your emotion.
Yeah.
So like, you know, those are the things I kind of like hesitate to meet the foreigner guy. Yeah. Yeah, if I like be in a serious trouble, like, you know, if I
Okay.
like, I don't know, I have to call 911 and after that I want to call my boyfriend and say, okay, so
Yes, you could do that in English.
what, you know? Like,
You could do that in English.
No,
You
but
can
I
do a pretty good
understand-
job.
I understand
yeah,
what you're
sometimes,
saying.
you know, like something like
You
some gaps, you know. And then like for us, like we're kind of you think like giving some money or like any property, whatever, giving parents is like something you have to do, you know, something you must to do because we live with the parents like for a long time, like longer time than, you know, other people. So and then let's say like if I'm like, you know, raising kids and then like my husband say like you're giving too much money to your parents, you know. Like, I don't understand that. Like, you already gave him his last holiday, and then like the next month and his birthday, and then they have a wedding anniversary, and then like this is more like $10,000 every year. You know, like what if we like that? You know. So I think that's what I'm saying is about culture. You know, like yeah, some cultures that it's hard to believe or hard to like. Just like understand about
Right.
it. Like okay, I'm paying off $20,000 per year, and then okay, that's the culture here.
Right.
Yeah,
Right,
you're gonna be accept like okay, whatever. Yeah.
I see. So like for you, Steve, like from your experiences dating, like what are the tips that you can give like to people who are trying to come over here to date?
I was thinking of something I wanted to talk about
Yeah,
before
go
I
ahead.
talk about the tips.
Okay.
You talked about like how a couple, if they speak different languages and they can't understand each other, that they're going to work, do the work it takes to kind of learn the language and communicate better. You're right about that. But one of the difficult parts about that is when I meet women in Korea, like half of them don't want to do that initially. Like it's not in their mind to learn English. They're just a really nice, beautiful Korean girl that happens to be there when I meet them. And it's not like something that they want to do to learn English.
Yeah.
So
I
in the
guess
beginning,
that-
it's hard.
Yeah,
I guess that
I get a lot
matters.
of guys and not you.
I guess that matters like person to person, but also like you are actually the foreigner here. Like you're actually coming to Korea. So
Right.
maybe generally most of them feel like, oh, so you're gonna learn my language, right? Maybe they have that kind of sort of assumption. It's like we being from the States, right? And then some like French girl comes or like some Eastern European person comes, you know, and then we
the
kind of
feeling
like,
the feeling I get is in the first like week you meet somebody, she's not thinking like who's going to learn the language. She's just kind of like, this is a foreigner. This guy
Right.
speaks English. Like, is this going to work if we have a relationship for the next? Who knows? Like,
Right.
do I speak English well enough to take this guy seriously? Like, should I go on this date with this guy because he's a foreigner and maybe his Korean is not like that? They decide right then,
right in
you know?
the dating sense. Well, for you, like she is a girl, right? So like I think maybe she as a girl, like she expects some sort of effort from the guy, and so like that's just kind of like,
Well, that's what I did with
they
the last
think.
girlfriend I had. When I met her, I spoke as much Korean as I possibly could.
oh, is that the one that I met?
The one that you met,
Oh yeah, she was really cute, man.
she's my ex now. Unfortunately, we broke up, and I'll get to that. But
Oh, she was
She
like
didn't-
really young.
she didn't
too,
speak a
right?
word of
Wow,
English
Steven
when I met
didn't
her.
work.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like she didn't speak a word of English. She didn't speak a word of English, but she was really nice, and I spoke as much Korean as I could, enough to like when I met her, it was interesting. This is a exception, but she sat in the empty seat next to me on the bus, and I had 1 minute to get her number because my stop was coming in like 2 stops, right?
Very bold of you, Mr. Steven.
Well, whatever I did that minute worked, and I got her number right before I left that bus.
Can I ask you how it went about? That's kind of
Yeah,
like the
I
juicy
wonder here
stuff.
too. Like, how can I get someone's number like in 2 minutes?
Listen, she sat down on the bus. You know how some people block the empty seat next to them? They sit on the aisle and block the window seat.
Right.
You know? I sit in the window seat and say, I don't give a fuck who sits next to me. I'm just doing the nice guy thing and whatever. And that day, a beautiful girl sat down next to me. And it was like 2 stops before my stop. And then when I looked at her, I just smiled. She smiled back at me. And that's a big difference than a stranger
It is.
that just looks at you and then looks away. Like, oh, God, it's a foreigner. Or who's this fucking creep sitting next
There's
to me?
also body language involved.
Exactly.
That's
She smiled back
kinda
at
universal.
me and wasn't scared.
Right.
And so I'm like, all right, that was cool. And then I said hi to her, and she says like, I don't speak any English. And I'm like, all right. So then I tried. I can't remember what I said, but I spoke Korean to her. Like I live here in Gwangju, and I'm an English teacher here, and my stop's coming up, so give me your number, something like that in Korean. And she kind of had like a weird look on her face, but she gave it to me, and I got off I guess I put it on my phone fast enough, got right off the bus. So
I would rather just spend another 15-minute bus.
Oh, just stay on the bus?
Yeah.
Oh, just stay on the bus?
Actually,
you were
that's a
lack
good
of
one, too.
efforts over there.
No,
But
my
the
problem is I'm always
You got
trying.
it anyways.
My problem is I'm always what is that when you do too much at the same time? Multitasking. I was multitasking. I had to get somewhere,
Yeah, no.
but I pulled it off that time.
But
Anyway,
the fact
that's part of the story.
Steven put in the effort to speak Korean.
Yes.
You spoke.
I spoke
full-blown.
Korean
Yeah,
for
yeah.
a whole minute,
Exactly.
I find that.
You spoke.
but it led to an amazing consequence.
See, that kind of opened things up for her. You know what I mean? She
She
kind of
thought
felt
right
a little
away.
bit more comfortable.
That's right.
She was like,
That's
oh,
right.
so this guy like can speak somewhat Korean.
So I can
And-
feel joy from this guy.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
basic as it is. So
your advice number 1: learn Korean and learn Korean culture.
no, you
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
definitely studied Korean and Korean culture. I just the Korean culture. I'm way high on most foreigners for what they know about Korea, in my opinion.
Yeah,
not with the
of
language.
course,
And
yeah,
with the language, I spent 2 years going to classes. But after that, I got lazy and just kind of learned on the street with friends and stuff. And it got
Yeah.
better, but slowly. So I think I'm like in the middle of most foreigners in Korea, something like that.
I actually didn't speak a word getting to your place.
Oh.
Yeah,
What?
I ordered like some food because I was starving, and
Yeah.
then I got some like ice for our drinks, this ice, and then
No, the taxi was the one you
yeah,
said
yeah,
to me.
taxi.
I ordered a taxi, and she's like, I feel like you're the Korean and I'm the foreigner.
Yeah.
Like, that's what she said.
Wow.
Because like
so
I'm
Steven
just,
It was
I'm
not
just
that
sitting
hard.
right there, and then he's like, "Oh, let's go to here." Like we're going there, something like that, and then
I
like,
walked up to the taxi and I said, "Seta bowlingjang gago is어요," or something like
yeah,
that.
something
Oh.
like
And then he said, "Hop in," and that was
Yeah.
it. And then she's like, "Am I with a Korean?"
that. No, yeah, I did feel like like and when we went to the food shop and food store, and then like the lady was like, "Oh, one of this, one of this, one of this," and like. And then she didn't even ask me back. Sometimes, like, so there's two different things. Like, sometimes the foreigner friends sometimes ask me, like, is my Korean bad? And then everyone seems like not get understood by well, like sometimes I think I said it
I
right.
think your Jeollado dialect is too much for these people. They can't
but
handle it.
it's like I think like I said like something give me 주세요, like something 주세요, give me something,
Give me something.
Yeah,
and then like the clock goes like it's like let's say you're the foreigner and you're the Korean. They're like, okay, something 주세요, and like, okay, now it's your turn to translate to me. Whatever.
That's right.
Yeah.
The Korean looks at the Korean friend like, what did he just say?
Yeah.
Right.
So if you say like kimbap hana juseyo,
It's like,
they
give
look
me
at your
one-
friend and your friend says kimbap hana juseyo.
Yeah, they want to they kind of want to confirm things with the Korean, so they'll completely like just ignore.
They'll double check. Maybe it's
Yeah,
just a
they'll
double check.
double check.
That's
They'll
fine. The
double check.
Ajumma wants to
But
double check.
sometimes they're
It's a
kinda
shock
sad,
factor.
It's annoying
They're
as
kinda
hell, but-
sad that like why I think I did the same. I said the same thing with him, and then
That's something I said to her like
Why,
years
you know?
ago. Like
Yeah.
I felt like what I learned that day in Korean class. Mekju hana juseyo. I was saying it
Which
the right
means,
way.
why don't you explain it to the audience? Which means
Please give me a beer.
right.
I thought that was the most right thing, and when I would go into a cocktail lounge, or no, not a cocktail lounge, a bar, and say something like, "Mekju hanajuseo," and they look around like, "What?" You know?
Yeah. No, it's definitely
Or
like
just say it again. You know?
It's
And-
definitely like the face factor. Like they
shocking.
look at you
Yeah.
and they're like, "Oh,
Like those
shit,
of
he's not
like
Korean."
who's studying Korean, like I feel very appreciated that they try and then for some living reason, teaching reason.
Hey,
whatever.
listen. It's cool to know what it's like to be a minority. I'm from America. I'm white. So here, I know what it's like to have people. You push the elevator button and you're waiting for the elevator, and it opens up, and there's somebody in there, and they jump back and they gasp. They go, oh, and then they walk by you, and then it's like, I've been startled by the elevator opening before, but like I don't jump if there's a black guy or a Chinese guy in there like they do here. So
Right.
that takes a little getting used to.
Yeah. And just like what I was saying, it is a very homogenous country. I don't know how long I'm gonna be saying this for,
Yeah.
but
I mean, I wish I was more handsome. Maybe that's why they're jumping back, because I'm not exactly Tom Cruise.
Like, wow,
it's Tom Cruise.
You're
But
walking
yeah,
in. Wow.
They're like,
Yo, we're running out of time.
Okay.
But I want to ask you, like, you being Korean, like, so do you plan on? Do you want to date a foreigner or?
So one time I met
One time.
No. One time I met my friend who got married. Like, yeah, one's from Africa and then another from America. And then like the African guy, really, his English is okay, but not like fluent, But like, she was nodding and waiting for him to speak, like finish his speaking, and like, okay, I try to understand, Like, and then I noticed one time, like, one of my friends from Canada and the Korean got into a fight, and the Korean guy started to shout, like, in Korean. And then, like, she feels like, she's getting it, whatever that he says. Like, I feel like those telepathy works, like, I don't know, like, with other, like, communication problem, I think it's worth a shot to get a foreigner, no? Yeah.
I don't think that's a major reason why you wouldn't date. Just like in all your friends, you haven't met like some guy that you just felt romantic about. I'm just surprised because you have so many friends and you meet so many people.
But it's not like something about feeling. I
It's
feel
not?
like, yeah. I feel like I just had a...
It's about money.
No.
Damn it!
I just
it's gotta be true.
rejected, I just rejected, like, oh, you're a foreigner, you're not into my market,
You're not into
More
my
like
market.
that, yeah.
Well,
Wait, right? Like,
got a
what do you
market.
mean by that? Is it because like the
her meat market
foreigners-
only has one style of meat. That's it. all right?
No.
Yeah, only ribs, please.
So like the foreigners that come here, you think they're just kind of like temporary?
Yeah, that's the thing too.
Yeah.
Like, there's like nothing, like...
Is that a normal thought in Korean girls about like, oh, how long is this guy gonna be here? I didn't even think about that.
Sometimes. Because,
You don't
like,
feel stable.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
sometimes,
guess.
like, if I, like, if I get to really love him, like, I have to worry about my future. Like, oh, no, what if he comes here? I feel like he's sacrificing, the whole life for me. And then I feel sorry about that. You have your future. I don't want to, like, ruin it, You were Korea was, like, just, like, a middle stop for your next career, Not, like living here forever, Yeah, so that's why I get, like, kind of uncomfortable about, like, maybe he will leave one day. And then, like, if I miss him, like, crazily miss him and crazy love him, I have to go there and live there. Like,
Live
foreign
there,
country.
right.
Yeah, that's what we were worried about. But for me, like, if I meet a, like, like, I meet a hot, I don't know, U.S. Army captain, whatever, I'll be like, okay.
You did. I thought you met many of them already in Gwangju.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I feel like I understand what you're saying. It's a very realistic like view of things, but I feel like sometimes, like, I think you should just kind of live in the moment.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of one of
That's
these
what I
things.
think.
Yeah. You gotta kind of live in the moment because you never know, like, if someone special is gonna pop up,
Yeah.
and you won't know until you actually like commit yourself.
Well,
and
that's what I always tell.
you're actually in it,
my
right?
Korean
I know.
friends that. Like, so that's one of the things we talked about. Meeting somebody as a stranger or out in public and asking them out on a date is kind of like a taboo thing here too. And I just tell like Koreans, like, in the Western culture where that's less taboo, I just feel like you never know who can be like the woman of your dreams or like the man of your dreams. And it's terrifying to meet like a stranger, especially if you think he's handsome or if you know, you think she's beautiful. But if you like have the strength to do it in USA and you try to do it here, there's the language and the culture thing that kind of gets in the way that makes it hard to meet that way. So you mentioned it before. You know, I have met and dated a lot of women on apps, and actually she's part of the reason why I have to blame you. So she showed me an app that I put on my phone, and
By the way, that's from our friend.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, don't say the name.
I don't know who that is, but hold on
Tell
a
them
second.
afterwards.
But anyway, this was like 5 years ago or like 4 years ago, and just you can. I just want to say that as it's a possibility. It's something that you know, is a viable way to meet people these days.
Yeah.
It's more like a Facebook without your face and name, you know. So like people post about something like, how was your day, you know, like you know, like it was raining.
Oh,
you know.
it looks like a social networking site like
it looks
Facebook.
like,
Can you tell what it is for the people that are listening? What's the name
So
of
the app is called Scout, and
Scout.
it used to be better. It's SKOUT, and it used to be better.
No, not anymore.
Now it's kind of like played out, and it's full of advertisements, and you could pay money. If you paid money for it, it probably, you know, is worth every penny. I never paid money for it.
Do you know how much it is? Like what is it per month?
Like
I
10 or
think the
10 or
ad,
15 bucks
you know,
a month.
it's just an ad remover. It's just like $4 or something like
Well,
that.
that's not true. They give you things that you can do in the app that really lead to better dating
I
than the
know
free
what
ones.
you
Also,
mean.
they
Like, you
limit
have
your
to
access
accept
to
somebody,
a
whatever.
better
Listen, I never
experience
paid
of the
anything
app.
for it, and I was very successful with it. Not very, but just like I was satisfied, you know, with it. And I don't think it's worth spending the money. But if you do, actually, I'll change my mind. It is worth spending the money on if you.
For me, I used it only for a month, just just to see someone in the online, you know. But I
Right.
mean, like, you know, I cannot meet everyone offline, you know. Like, and then I realized, like, someone worth more, they spend more time with, you know, personal, not like online.
Let me.
You know
Oh,
what
yeah.
I mean? Like, yeah.
So
Let me
they're
say-
just
Why-
they're
I
just
just-
looking for like short term
Yeah,
or flings
just
or
a
No,
month.
guys
it
have
was
to-
enough
something
for me.
sexual,
Like,
maybe.
Okay, I had
Yeah.
enough sugar, you know, more like that. Okay, bye.
That's
Like,
how women
yeah.
think. Men think like that for like 5 minutes after they're done with their sexual encounter, and then they're ready for, you know, more of that. So, but with that app, the thing with that app is, I was just make the point. There are features on it where you can feature yourself, and the different thing with that app is you can put yourself in another city or country.
Ah, right.
So if you
Location change, right?
you can change the location. So if you travel to another country, you can use the feature where you can
As a car
surf
surfing or
that
something.
city for the women on that app, or the men if you're, you know, and you can, you know, email them and say hi. But you have to understand as a guy what it's like, and she can tell me that I'm right about this. When you're a girl on these apps, you get like 100 emails a day or messages a day, and your message as a guy just gets like lost in that sea of chores that the girl has no fucking time for during the day to read through every fucking annoying email that every fucking douchebag sends to her.
I want to know more about you. Something
Exactly,
like
and I'm
that.
one of those douchebags, so I'm always like trying to think of an
Special line.
interesting like first subject or line of the message, and it's worked out a lot of the times, but it's so played out that there's a lot of people on there that they're on there for weird reasons or all the wrong reasons, or it's just there's too many scammers, and it's kind of like all played out. So new apps keep coming out, and it keeps changing.
And just to wrap this whole dating thing, like what are the tips that you can think of on top of your head to anyone who wants to date with a Korean person?
All right, my tips are to make a lot of friends. If you're a guy, make a lot of guy friends. Or just even make a lot of girl friends that you're not dating, and vice versa for women, because Koreans are comfortable dating somebody that their friend introduced them to, or that they have a common bond.
Right, they're very exclusive about that, right?
Yeah, it's
in
like you
Korean
have to
culture.
be like, you know, like my coworker's friend or
Yeah.
coworker's.
That's right.
colleague
When I ask
or-
Korean couples how they
Right,
met,
right.
they give me only 2, maybe 3 different ways. That's
But
it.
they're lying, you know. Who can say like, you know, in the middle of the night we had too much tequila and we.
That's a good point. That's a great argument.
Yeah,
That's true.
nobody
They don't do
nobody
that.
says so. You
Well,
know?
the reasons they
Let's say
give
like
are.
I met him Tinder, but it's like nobody says like, oh, I met him Tinder, you know. Like,
Dude,
yeah, and
I
then
think they're
it's like, oh my
changing these days. I
God,
think they're
you know,
admitting
like,
it now for some
yeah.
sites at least. But no, either they met when they were like studying together in the same group, or they had a part-time job together. They spent time together somehow before they started dating. The other way is a friend. They have a mutual friend that they went to a party for that the friend set up, or a friend set them up on a date. But if they'll never tell you that, I went to Starbucks and ordered a coffee, and I that's where I met my boyfriend. Just a
Yeah.
random, a thing, or he's I met him at a nightclub or something like that. Like, you're right. Like, they'll never like admit that, and it never really
Right.
happens.
Yeah, yeah. And
For
if
me,
it does,
like-
they'll never admit it.
Yeah, one of my friend I met on the street. Like one of my friend, like, you know, because I think that's because I speak English, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he asked something, or you know, that was actually I met him on the bus. Just like
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, I met him on the bus.
But this was
Oh.
weird. We're on a packed bus, and this was my first year
You're
in Korea.
just like
So you met
squeezing-
Steven from the bus.
She
Yeah.
said
As
to
well.
me, "Hey,
Okay.
like, are you a teacher?" Like, she called me out.
No, I don't think so. You told me out.
No,
No. I was studying English.
She
at
was
the time.
reading an English book, right?
Yeah, that's why you asked me like, can you speak Korean? You know, I mean, can you speak English?
No,
Oh.
you said the first thing, not me.
Really?
Yeah, you did. You did.
Yeah, I'm a kind of person.
I
like
saw
that.
you there studying English, and I think I tried to ignore you.
Anyways,
I'm just
not a
kidding.
big deal. Anyway,
She was
keep
behind
going.
me, and she was like, "Excuse me, like, are you an English teacher?" And I turned around and I said, "Well, yes, I am. Are you studying English?" Something like that. And we've been really good friends for almost 7.5
7
years.
years.
Yeah, 7.5 years.
Yeah.
I met her like
Yeah.
3 months in
Wow.
because she lived in the
two, like, you know, 500 meters
she
away.
lived in the
like-
neighborhood. She got off like 3 stops later on that bus that I happened to have a part-time gig that was illegal, but yet the government paid me for it, type of teaching job.
Yeah.
And here we are, 2 days left.
Wow,
I'm outta here,
Steven,
so-
I can't believe you're leaving, man. And just to wrap this whole podcast up, oh my God, I'm going to burst into tears.
The person tears later. We're gonna
well,
keep
I'm gonna
drinking.
do it after-
we have a lot of food
after
to
the
eat.
shoot.
We have some kimchi mandu
Yeah.
waiting for us. We have some
Yeah.
chija kimbap waiting for us. What else do we have?
I gotta maintain
Champagne.
my manhood. But anyways,
is
I just
awesome.
wanna ask. I wanna ask you, like, what are do you have any like future goals, or like something that you're working on that or something you want to promote?
Okay. Not many
You don't
things.
have to say it. But,
Yeah, but like I think
I'd like to know the answer. So that was a great question.
yeah, like okay, so I'm starting up a like environmental company. Actually, I'm starting up.
Wow.
Oh,
he
yeah?
didn't know.
Well,
No, you didn't
we,
talk about
we
it.
don't really have much of those in Korea, do we?
Yeah.
Right.
No. The thing,
Or
the
effective
thing-
ones, at least.
Yeah, the thing is like our company actually is funded by government, but it's a very good thing because we replace like the chemical fertilizer, so like the soil and then even human can be healthier. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah. So
if you keep
so
fertilizer out of the ground, I think that would make a lot of
you
things
will
not
eat it
die.
anyway. You know, you will eat those anyway.
No, I
Yeah.
don't want to eat those. Don't say I will. I don't want to ever.
Yeah, so that's why we are making this company. But
Good.
yeah, I'm our next target is actually India because we are already funded by government. So
Wow.
I think we want to continue this project to Indian government.
You need
Wow.
to
Because
hire.
India has pollution.
you're
like
going to
Yeah.
need to hire 2 million people.
yes,
If
I
they
hope
want to
so.
check it out, like, is there a website that they can go to,
No,
or
we-
there's something that they can
No, no,
help
no.
you support, or you're just doing?
Yeah,
it
I'm just
yourself?
doing myself,
oh,
but
okay.
I have a very very good friend of mine in
Oh.
India. Like I met him
Okay.
on when I was translating. Like I was interpreting. Like I met this guy. He like for me I'm meeting a lot of buyers like big buyers, like who's like some,
I need to introduce you to someone. He's Korean, but he lives in India. He speaks both. Actually,
Indian,
he's
Korean,
trilingual: English, Hindi,
Awesome.
and Korean. I mean,
Yay.
he's been there for a while. I think he's been studying there. So, I'm pretty sure he knows some people by now.
Yeah.
I'll introduce you after the show. But anyways,
but he for me, like I go for another exhibitions or like big
Right.
events, like even government events too. So I'm an interpreter, and then like for me, like meeting this kind of high class people, like it's just normal. Like okay, I be polite, more polite, and then for him, it was like I can talk to him about many things, like as a friend, like it's truly different. Like when I meet somebody on the street and like, hey, what's going on, like more like that, and then when I'm business translating,
It's a little bit
like
different.
and then for me, I kind of able to talk to him like a friendly talk to him, and then
Yeah.
we had a good connection, I thought. And then on Christmas he called me in person, like international call.
Oh, yeah?
I received an international call. Oh, Miss Kim, I just want to thank you, and then happy Christmas, happy New Year. And then we had only 1 minute talk, and then he hung up. And then I think that way we kind of got connected. And then this year he visited Korea again, so I bought a little hanbok, like traditional clothes for his daughter.
Yeah.
And then like traditional dolls, like with the
With
traditional
hanbok?
clothes,
Yeah.
like kings and like
Sejong
queens.
and the queen, really?
so things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, I sent him some gifts over there. So that connection brings me of thinking of like I should make a company in India, because he was very supportive, and he was like talking to me like
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's a sound idea, and it's pretty good.
Yeah, India is, like,
India has
really-
such a huge population. There's so much going on, so
Yeah.
it would be great.
And then
Oh, yeah.
still like 60% is like agriculture, like of economy. I mean,
Right,
like,
right.
yeah.
Right? So there's a need for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's something that helps the environment, and if you set it up right, people will give you money.
Yeah. But
You know,
since he asked me
to do
about
it.
promotion, like I want to get me promotion, like I just got back to Korea and I'm friends with Brian, so don't be scared.
Don't be scared.
Yeah, I already gave him sources, like that's the connection you meant. Like,
That's right.
Like yeah.
Yeah.
So don't be scared,
Yeah. And Steve, what about you, man? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, any future goals?
You're
Or I know
going
you were
back.
just talking about like getting some university job, college job.
Yeah. Well,
But is there something
He's gonna
something
teach
else?
teach Korean. Yeah,
or-
he's gonna
actually, where do you want to teach?
so I do love teaching, and I decided years ago that I'm pretty happy with this life of teaching English in Asia. And I always thought about other countries, and I just never did it. And the opportunity came, and I finally said, do it. So I'm going to spend a short time in the USA, and I want to tour around the USA. And
What's the first thing you're gonna eat when you get back home?
That's what you want to talk about. The reverse culture shock again.
Yes,
Uh,
pizza.
It's always weird going to Walmart when you go back to America after 2, 3, 4 years.
Walmart.
It's always fucking weird.
He
because
has Sears card like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has
Dude,
like
does
gift
Sears
card,
even
$30
exist?
Sears. Like he had.
I
saw it.
I
in
showed her a
his
Sears
upload.
gift card that's 10 years old that I haven't redeemed yet, and
Oh
I don't
my
know if the
God.
store's still in
I-
business or
I
I have no
think
fucking
they're
idea.
I'm
out
gonna
of
make
business.
file a complaint. don't
But
worry.
anyway,
That's what she's talking about. So, like,
Yeah.
when I get back, it's just weird when you walk in. By the way, I'm going to Florida. I live in Florida, so there's Walmart. There's a lot of Walmarts in Florida.
course.
In New Jersey has outlawed them, or I don't know if there's any in Jersey even today.
I don't
but-
know any in Jersey. I know there's one in New York, right in Suffern, I believe, which is right on the border of New Jersey.
I'm kind of
New York.
happy that New Jersey doesn't have any, just because it shuts down all the other businesses around it, because they're 24
The local
hours,
businesses,
everything.
yeah.
But it's always reverse culture shock when you go into like a big
Yeah,
store. in
household
So
America.
you
Have
haven't you
place.
haven't answered my question. What
Oh,
are you,
so
what's the
what am I
first thing
gonna
you're gonna
eat?
what are you gonna
Is that what
buy?
you're talking
You're gonna get
about?
a big
Lasagna?
fat burger from Five Guys. You got
That's
your
you know what?
Shake Shack.
I'll stop you right
got-
there.
Dr.
That's
Pepper.
a good fucking guess. That is a good guess, because I did that exact same fucking thing when I was there 2 years ago, dude. I had a friend. I went to New Jersey on a what do you call it? A transfer. Like I had a transfer of like 4 hours, and it was late, and I only had like 2 hours free. My buddy picked me up and took me right to Five Guys. I had a fucking burger and fries. And he
How
dropped me off
good
at
are
the
those
airport.
fries?
I want to
And-
go Wendy's now. Like
Wendy's? Oh, you know Wendy's? I just
know, it's a
feel like,
surprise.
how does Korea not have Wendy's or Five Guys?
Let's go Dairy King tomorrow. Like, we have
I went
Dairy
there.
King.
I went there. I went there in
That was
Itaewon.
first Dairy King
I went there-
in like 13 years. Like
Yeah.
they were here, and then they went.
Jeez.
Well, listen, I
Got
went
one
to
right
the
next
one
to
in
my house.
Itaewon, and I had one of their burgers and the ice cream. It was good, but they used to have a Wendy's. I saw a picture that showed a Wendy's in Korea. That must
I
be
don't know about
10
that.
years old or something.
Maybe.
they gave it a shot.
And then they just gone out of business.
We can't complain. Subways are popping up everywhere, so things are getting better in Korea with American.
So anything else you're trying to do besides the teaching gig? Like, I mean, the teaching thing?
Just
Kebab shop, please.
Oh, we can't get into that. We can't get it. She's getting rude now. Hey, I wish if we had more time, I would love to talk about like what I've done in the past. But for the future, that's it. I want to be a university teacher. I'm applying to jobs now.
All right,
and,
cool, man. And where can they find
Get
you?
married
I
to a
know
Korean.
we said Steven Worldwide with a PH for
Yeah.
Steven on YouTube. And you did write some like articles for the Gwangju News.
All right,
didn't
yeah,
you?
that's another thing that I've published. That's pretty good that you mentioned that. I just totally forgot about that. I was gonna say Stephen Worldwide. That's it, but I wrote like 35 articles for a magazine called Gwangju News. So I think if you Google Gwangju News GIC, I think that brings up the website. It might be gwangjunews.com or gwangjuNewsGIC.com. But if you look for any of those things, Gwangju News GIC, you can find all my articles that I wrote for them. They're mostly about Korean superstitions and Korean traditions and culture and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Cool. That's
it
cool,
was
about Korean
monthly,
culture.
so I got the post.
My YouTube
Wow.
channel is kind of old. I haven't posted in a long time just because
Yeah.
I got tired of making videos, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
And I just start spending all my time teaching English and making money, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows if I'll get back to that. But
Yeah.
check it out because I have a whole, like 3-4 years worth of videos when I first came to Korea.
That sounds
on
great.
It. So,
So
Stephen
those
Worldwide.
of you who want to like learn more about Korean culture or try to get like, who are trying to like come here to teach and adjust to the Korean culture, you can learn a lot more about the Gwangju News and from the Gwangju News and Steven's YouTube on Steven Worldwide. So yeah, there you have it, folks. You can visit us at STBeef00 for Instagram or YouTube, iTunes, or Google Play Music or Stitcher. So thanks for supporting us, guys. This is the last time Steven... Well, hopefully, maybe not the last time. Maybe you'll come here again. If that's a possibility.
Someday, if that's a possibility.
Later in the
you're
future.
right.
But for now,
It's going to be a while.
it's been a pleasure, man.
And it's been
Awesome,
awesome,
man.
and it's been real,
Yeah.
and it's been real awesome,
Yeah.
and this podcast was awesome.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming.
We're gonna
All
keep
right.
drinking and enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
So we'll see
All
you
right,
guys
see
in
you
the
guys
next
later.
video.
Peace.
Peace.